Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I've been licensed as a clinical psychologist to practice in the state of California since 1974. I like to say I've been licensed to walk upon this earth since 1941. Just about 83 years old now. So I want to bring to you the insights and lessons and inspirations of a lifetime to help lift you and your loved ones for now and for the rest of your lives. That's truly my intention. And it's my pleasure, my privilege to be here in your presence, to be here with you. Great privilege for me. The title of today's presentation is How to Deal with the Psychological Effects of Social Media. How to deal with the psychological effects of social media. Is everyone having a better time than you? Is everyone having a better time than you? That's the subtitle. And I'm dedicating this to nurse practitioner Bertrand Nojang, who came up with the title, and I'm going to be giving that. We had a good discussion ahead of time on this. When you see people, on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, it's usually they're looking good. They might be having a martini, lying in a hammock in the Bahamas, smiling. And so we tend to compare our inside to their outside. So inside we know we're having some negativity going on, which is normal. 80% of all thoughts are negative, including that person having that martini in the Bahamas. 80%. That's a massive study out of the University of Maryland. 80% of people's thoughts are negative. So, you compare how you feel inside, you're having negative thoughts, negative conversations. We're talking to somebody in our mind. We're trying to finish up this conversation with that person in our mind, that person, the boss, an employee, a co-worker, a spouse, a child, parent, whatever. We have these conversations. We all do that. Kind of talk to ourselves in our own minds. That's very common. And most of them are negative conversations, 80%. So you're comparing, you're having that inside of you. And you look at the guy on social media, and he's smiling. He's just having the time of his life. And that's the illusion of it. That's the illusion. And so there ends up a distortion of what the good life is. People put maps, I'm at this restaurant, I'm at that restaurant, I'm having a great time. Somebody, Bert was telling me, somebody said this, I didn't come up with the statement myself. Sad people, happy photos. Sad people, happy photographs. Or the person also used this terminology, a generation of happy photos. Not a generation of happy people, a generation of happy photos. Let's go back to the reality that you're having conversations most of the time inside your thoughts. You're still talking, you're finishing up a conversation you had with somebody, a conversation you wish you had with somebody, something you need to say to somebody tomorrow, whatever. You're going through these conversations. And a lot of them are not necessarily pleasant conversations. Here's the key. You're having that, and let's say you see somebody, your neighbor or a colleague, you say hi. They're having the conversation too. This is what nobody told you. Nobody told you it's normal for you to be talking to different people in your thoughts. It is. That's what we all do. And not only are you doing it, the person that you're talking to is at a party or a gathering of some kind, a family gathering, or you together with your kids, your relatives, your spouse, your significant other. They're having those conversations. They are. Now, the hard part that people have in coming together is you're walking along, let's say you're walking down the street and you see a neighbor. You're having this conversation about something in your life. You know, I don't know where I'm going to get the money to pay this bill. My supervisor's giving me this hard time. I really got to file a complaint with the union, whatever. You're having that conversation in your thoughts. That person's having a conversation. Gee, I lost my glasses. I can't find my glasses. I can hardly see. You know, and he's having a conversation about his glasses. You're having this conversation. This is really, you really need to integrate this. This is going on all the time. And nobody has said a word about this. Nobody's told you in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, high school, college. No one's even told you this is going on. So in a sense, whenever you see somebody, you're interrupting their conversation and they're interrupting yours. We're always interrupting each other's conversations that we're having with ourselves. And then people kind of force themselves to come out here to find some mutual grounds to communicate about. Well, hey, did you see the Super Bowl or, you know, or whatever you feel you got to come out and leave your conversation behind. So the person on social media was having that conversation all day long. They could be in the Bahamas right then for the photo, having a martini, but they were just prior to that photo, maybe even during the photo, they were having some negative inner conversation as well. That moment doesn't really define the person, just something they're showing to the world. Hey, I'm a happy guy, successful guy. I'm leading the good life. Look at me. I mean, variations of that. You need to know that that's going on. You need to know that you're normal with the reality that's going on in you. Now, I'm going to tell you how to have a more positive conversation with yourself. You can balance that negative conversation. I'm going to tell you how to have much better conversations with yourself, but nobody's going to know it. In other words, you're not going to come on in and say, hey, I'm having a much better conversation with myself. You're not going to say that. I'm having a much better conversation with myself. And you may not even smile. Now look, when you get a photo taken, look at this. Particularly in our society, it's not all over the world this way. What do? Smile, say cheese. Smile, say cheese. So everybody's looking like they're happy, smiling. Cheese. So now what did you do? You got a photo of you looking like a happy camper. You might have been just fighting with your spouse, fighting with the kids, but you know. But now the photo's taken. You're going. So this is cheese. So the social media thing's going for a long time. Even before the computers, people have their. You see photographs up of the family and people all smiling. That's a happy family. Isn't that a happy family? Meantime, the husband and wife are about to get divorced. The kids are driving them crazy. Whatever. So this kind of illusion's been going on a long time. Social media has just been a continuation of, say cheese. That's what's going on. You need to know that. I'm telling you that because I don't want you to feel one down. I don't want you to feel you're less than because you're not that person in the photo. I want you to feel that. So I've just showed you it's an illusion. People have been smiling for the camera forever. Now, in the Middle East, Russia, if you look at those photographs, they're pretty serious. If you look at Native Americans, they look really serious in the photos. They're not doing that. But pretty much in Western society today, we've been doing it for a long, long time. They need to know that. Now, the root of this thing is that you have the right to be who you really are. You have the right to be who you truly are. It's your God-given right. As long as the expression of your true self is done in a respectfully real manner. The expression of yourself needs to be in a respectfully real manner. That's the way of honor. So respectfully real communication is the honorable way to communicate. I want you to know that you have the right to talk about your struggles. I'm not saying you have to talk to everybody, but you have that right. Nobody goes on social media and says, I'm really struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. Nobody's doing that. But it can be done with dignity if you say, you know what? I'm really going through some self-esteem issues. I'm working on it. Feeling bad about myself. I'm getting a little depressed, a little anxious. Even getting some panic attacks. But you know what? I intend to come back much stronger than ever. I intend to come back much stronger than ever. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship because you know it's going to add to your wisdom and your compassion. So I just want you to know you have the option to project your true reality, and you can do it with dignity by adding having that statement with it. I hope to come back much stronger than ever. Grateful for the power I gained from hardship. And then when you're even going with yourself and you're having these negative conversations, you could even interject that over there. You know, I hope to come back much stronger than ever. I'm just not feeling right. I feel really put down. I feel hurt. I feel humiliated. But I hope to come back much stronger than ever. You have that positive conversation with you. That's an honorable conversation. I hope to come back much stronger than ever. And I'm grateful for the power I'm gaining from this hardship. I know I'm going to come back stronger. So there's two types of thoughts. The thoughts that pop into your mind but do not define who you are. It's based on your genetics, family upbringing, societal norms. And then the thought you choose to have. Now, you're not responsible for the thoughts that pop into your mind. It's not your fault. But you are responsible for the thought you want to balance it with, like an honorable thought. Hope to come back much stronger than ever. Or you can even say, God willing, we'll be fine. I'll be fine and I'm grateful. That's one of the laws of honor. So we have the 4 commandments of honor, 25 laws of honor, the bridges, the whole system, which are most of my videos. I have them in there. But right now, I'm just going over a few of them today with you. So we basically, the way of honor is a way of having a much better conversation with yourself. Based on the 4 commandments of honor, I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. And then one of 2, whether you believe in God or not. If you don't believe in God, don't want to address God, I seek always to serve my highest values. If you believe in God as I do, then you go, God, your wish is my only wish. You do that 3 times a day for life, and you add what I call the bridge, which optimizes the probability that you're going to apply it. The bridge is, what's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So honor becomes the gold standard for everything. Honor becomes the gold standard for everything. We're no longer looking for happiness, we're looking for honor, which is the foundation of true happiness. Now, what does this do? This will optimize, maximize a good conversation within yourself. These are the most powerful thoughts in the universe. The most powerful thoughts in the universe. To get you a better conversation with yourself. These are the best thoughts in the universe to get you the best conversation with yourself. You might as well have that best conversation with yourself because guess what? You're with yourself 24/7. Might as well have the best conversation. Now, you could take a photo of you where you're having that and put it on there and say, I'm having these great thoughts, but nobody will be able to see it because, you know, I have this big grin with a martini laying in a hammock. So if you took and say, I'm having really great thoughts. I mean, here I am, I'm having really great thoughts. I'm having really great thoughts. I have a little smile. Yeah, I'm having some great thoughts. Who takes a picture of that? I might as well. There's no reason we shouldn't. Having some darn good thoughts today. This is new stuff. This is a new way of being. I just want you to know these are options that you have. As a matter of fact, when you're running these conversations and you run into somebody you can say, you know what? I mean, this is not going to happen soon in our society because it would be very socially inappropriate, but the time needs to come in an honorable society where you can say, you know, I'm having these inner conversations. I'd like to invite you into what I'm saying to myself. Here's what I'm thinking about right now, the conversation I have. What are your thoughts about this? Or would you like me to come into your inner conversation? Let me go into your world. You want to enter my world or your world? I mean, that's an option. I'm not saying you should jump out and do that, but it's an option. Let's face it, sometimes you don't even want to be around somebody because you have this conversation going and you feel you can't pull yourself out of that inner conversation to make yourself pleasant to this person. Well, we have to go beyond that into more genuine dimensions of living. That's normal. The things I'm telling you, by the way, which sound very unusual. I know how unusual it sounds. This is what a normal people would do. A normal society would be doing the things I'm telling you. The reason it's not happening is there's something very wrong. When I have to tell you, and you probably never even heard it your whole life, that you have the right to be who you truly are, that you never even heard that is bizarre. Really, isn't there something abnormal about that? The fact that nobody's ever told you that it's normal to have inner conversations go on when you're walking around, and the other people are doing that too, that nobody ever told you that. Something wrong with our whole educational way if we're not even dealing with the reality of each one of us. So, trying to free you up from any kind of self-condemnation that you have, really trying to normalize your experience. And right now, the social media could make you feel less than. I'm not having a normal life. That means a normal life means you're smiling and you're having a martini in the Bahamas. That's a normal life. Or they're going out for dinner every night and going to this restaurant and that restaurant. That's a normal life. I'm having a less than normal life. No, it's not true. You're a human being, and it's my responsibility, my mission to normalize what you have going on inside, and for you to find ways to have a congruence between what's in here and what you're expressing. Some congruence on that. You may never totally 100% achieve it, but you can come a long way. At least have the aspiration to that authenticity, the way of depth. Now, of course, you have the two tribes. They divide humanity into two tribes, the deeps and the chats. The chats don't really want to go there, which is most people, by the way. Most people don't want to go there. But deeps, the tribe of deeps, they want to go deeper right away. I'm a person, you know what I love about what I do, my work? My patient, I have them on the app, wonderful, beautiful human beings. And I say, I want you to really open up to me, confide in me. You could tell me things you never told anybody. What do I have to know about you for you to feel like I really know you? You have to look what the situation. You have to pay somebody to be able to have somebody say that to you, or you're in a protected environment. You're with me as your psychologist, and I'm saying that to you. That's a normal conversation. So the way I am as a psychologist with you, when I talk with you, to me, that's just me. That's a normal conversation people should be having anyway. It's not happening. I really want to know you. I really want to know your struggles. You know, I can't really know you if I don't know your struggles. Statement I came up with the other day, whatever greatness, whatever you've achieved in your life, your greatness is not in what you have achieved, but in what you had to do to achieve it. Your greatness is not defined by what you have achieved, but in what you had to do to achieve it. Life's a struggle. No way around it. And the social media is, and the movies for a long time too, have robbed humanity of the humanness which is in the struggle. You can't even know somebody if you don't know their struggle. You can't even assess that achievement. That for that guy to achieve whatever he did, finish high school, was amazing because he grew up poor. He grew up with parents who were gone or drug addicts. and managed to finish up high school, that might be more of an achievement for that person than somebody who got their MD, whose parents just helped them along and supported them and really encouraged it. To really understand a person's achievement, you have to understand what they had to overcome to achieve that. To make a more extreme example, you could see a drunk laying in the street in his own vomit and urine and feel repulsed, but he might be the greatest man on the earth. Why? Because he might have been tortured and molested every day of his life growing up, and he's staying drunk just not to kill somebody. I'm making a hypothetical situation. That person may be a saint, but you say, well, he's just a drunk, a smelly drunk laying on the street. But given his background, and he's not hurting anybody, that's an amazing achievement. Amazing. Who can judge it? We don't know what their background was. So, just getting real. We're talking reality here. This is not fantasy. Life is not a fantasy. This is real. I'm giving you the real scoop and how to really live with honor within that. You could have a totally honorable life in terms of thoughts, words, and actions. It's doable. Repeat the 4 commandments of honor 3 times a day with the bridge, remembering that the repetition is preparation for application to achieve internalization and stabilization. Well, it's my pleasure to present to you how to deal with the psychological effects of social media. Is everyone having a better time than you? So I'm going to open that for your comments, your questions. Keeping in mind, I really want to hear from you because you, my wonderful people, the others benefit as much or more from hearing what others have to say than what I've said, because then people feel a sense of community and less alone. So please share your thoughts, your questions, your comments.
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. It's Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
I'm actually, I want to say that I'm a newer person to social media. I had a MySpace a long time ago and stopped using it in 2007. And then all these years passed by, and in 2021, I got an Instagram and a Facebook. And it was like, whoa, it's very, very overwhelming. And, you know, I never wanted like a Facebook or anything, because all I heard was people having all kinds of drama, Facebook, the quote unquote Facebook drama and everything. You know, people saying, oh, well, they look happy, but they're really not happy. And I noticed that the reason why I even made these social media accounts was for business. And for me, it's overwhelming. It's nonstop. You could just keep scrolling, going down the rabbit hole. And I feel like when I'm on it, even just to do whatever, you know, for business, I feel like it makes me unhappy because, I guess maybe I'm not using it as productive, but I just feel like since it's ongoing, you can really like waste a lot of time being on it. And, I just always felt happier just living my life without staring at my phone. And not only that, actually the phone, staring at the phone and the screen actually ages you. It actually ages your face because the light is reflecting back at you. It's hurting your eyes. You're squinting. It's actually making your face age. The EMFs from the cell phone are radiating. And, I mean, it's just so many things. And then with people having their opinions on social media, or really kind of in a way, I want to say treating it like a meat market where they just contact you direct and they say, you know, inappropriate things, or there's so much scamming going on. I mean, to me, it's really, really intense. I mean, I came from not having it all these years to 2020 and having it, and I missed all of 2020. I missed people and their, you know, racism and all that during 2020. I missed all of that. And so I came like, oh yeah, let me try it. And I'm just like, man, people are just crazy all over the world.
Well, here's the thing though. Firstly, those I think we could all agree with everything you said. Those are all there. Of course, sometimes you see these lovely things with animals being so good to each other, doing amazing things, or there's some interesting philosophies and sayings and good educational videos on spirituality or health and fitness. So there's definitely a constructive, positive use, but a lot of it has to do with what you're talking about. So that's and so the goal is to not feel, to overcome being depressed by it or to be less than because of it. That's the goal of what we're doing now. But your comments are just spot on completely.
So I decided to take a break. So I took a break these past couple weeks, and I just feel more positive. I feel like I can like be more active, get more things done instead of having to depend on, okay, let me check my messages. Let me go back and see this. And then you kind of get stuck a little bit. And I feel bad a little bit because, I'm kind of rude. I'm not answering messages. I'm not following up with people that are contacting me, but it's like my own self-peace in my brain. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so glad because I never lived by my phone before. And then now I'm using social media.
Well, yeah, I think we all, it's become a necessity. But it's become pretty well a necessity for most of us, including myself. I have a lot of texting with my people all day long. But there is a constructive use, but I wanted to mitigate some of the negative aspects that can come from this whole thing. Absolutely. Thanks, Tracy. Anybody else? What's that, Hugh?
What do you think of some of these cases where teenage girls have been ridiculed so much on social media that they've committed suicide?
Well, Hugh was bringing up girls have been ridiculed so much on social media that they've been committed suicide. Yeah, people feel, I guess they're called trolls or whatever, who can really, really say really terrible things to people. That's one of the most destructive aspects of what's happening, where people feel they can vent their worst side of themselves. That's definitely a danger of it. There's many dangers of it. We know that kind of thing, and sexual predators and whatnot. We're focusing more on, is everyone having a better time than me? That dimension. There's many dimensions to talk about. There's good dimensions and really, really problematic dimensions. But is everyone having a better time than me is really, or a better time than you, or a better time than me as well. That's what I wanted to just focus on for today. But we know about all the really perversions that can happen. But you don't have to go on social media for that to happen. I mean, people on the roads flipping each other off and jamming on their brakes to make somebody tailgating crash, and the anger expressed, where 53% of Americans express anger to other drivers at least 2 more times per year. We interviewed 1,500 people, and that was what we found. So you don't have to even be on social media to see the destructiveness that's within the people. In addition to the wonderful beauty of the human beings, we know that other dimension is definitely there.
How much of what you see on social media do you think is phony?
Well, a question from Hugh now is, what percentage on social media is phony? I think that's the main concern. What's phony about it is just that it's a distortion. The person might be really happy having that martini on a hammock in the Bahamas, but that doesn't represent their life. That's like one little split second. And so the distortion is, wow, he's having a blast. Well, at that moment, he seems to be having a good time. So he might be genuinely enjoying that moment. But the distortion that could lead to a feeling of phoniness is that it leads you to think that this person's having a great time. As a matter of fact, the only time you see that person is he's having a great time at a nightclub, out dancing, at a ball game, taking photos of the food, showing the delicious food. That's it's not that that's false or phony. It just gives a distortion of what that person's life is. It's almost like a happiness contest going, so that who's the happiest, and if you're not super happy, well, you lost. If you're having a problem, you lose. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just abnormal. I mean, that's a pathology in society, that whole mentality. Yeah. Thanks for asking that question, Hugh.
I get what you mean when you're saying like it's like a happiness contest, and a lot of times I feel like I don't post everything that I do. To me it's a lot like, well, I have to document everything like in my life. It is nice to have the intimate moments with people, celebrating a baby shower. Yes, it's a nice memory. I don't need to post everything, and because I feel like I have a lot of happiness just existing, then be like, I'm happy, let me take a picture, I gotta post it.
It's almost like if I don't have a photo, it's not real. I mean, this makes it real. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Some people are like, well, you got to document and you got to show people your life. Well, yeah, I can show people my life, but I don't need to show them all of my life. I really do enjoy my privacy. I do like having intimate friends where it's just like, hey, it's just us, and we know where we are, and we know who we are.
It's almost like this moment's not enough unless I document it. Otherwise, it's just not enough. It's wasted. I'm enjoying this moment, but it's a waste if I don't document it and show everybody. That's going on, and then that leads to the distortion of what life is. And people have this idea that that's the person's life. Well, the person can have their good moments, but it leads to a denial of the human condition. The human condition is 80% of the time people's thoughts are negative. 20% though are good thoughts. But now with the system that I've been teaching, we can also balance that negativity with positive, constructive, honorable thoughts. Thank you so much for that, Tracy. Really, as always, right spot on. Really appreciate you. Thanks. Anybody else have something you'd like to ask or say?
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. It's Janaea.
Hi, Janaea. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So as far as social media, I was always taught just because it glitters, it's not gold.
There you go.
I do have a Facebook page, but it's set to private. My mother, who's 81, she has a Facebook page. Not quite sure if it's private or not, but people have ways of maneuvering. Now she has my wedding picture on her page. Well, you and I have discussed my wedding day. A friend from a very long time ago that I no longer talk to came across her page and reached out. And she was like, oh, you look so beautiful. Everybody looks so happy. Your day must have been wonderful. Once again, everything that glitters is not gold. That day was not wonderful. But that picture makes it look like rosy.
That's exactly the point, because a lot of people, I'm sure a certain percentage of people who are getting married, maybe just had a fight with their fiance right before that they take their vows. And so they feel, gee, everyone else has a great wedding, they have a great time. And whatever's supposed to be a great time may or may not be. It's sort of like a vacation. Vacation is not a location, it's a state of mind. You can spend $20,000, go to Hawaii, but if you're fighting with your significant other, you're not having a good time. So it's not so just I say vacation is not a location, it's a state of mind. And the same with the rest. The situation doesn't define happiness. It's a very inner state that can happen just sitting there, just being with a friend, or seeing your children playing, or seeing somebody you love, as opposed to, well, we went and did this. You may be feeling great. Probably just as good a chance as it's definitely, nothing is what it seems. We know that. And I would say social media is a perfect expression. Nothing is what it seems. But as I said, that's been going on a long time. Photographs. Say cheese. Everybody's going cheese. Well, you're not walking around saying cheese on the streets and smiling like that. It's just that second they caught that. And then that portrait stands forever up there. They say, look, we're such a happy family. Well, may be true, hopefully, but they have their issues, that's for sure. They're not so happy. And that's normal. I just try to normalize the human experience. I just want to normalize it, because the brainwashing of what a good life is is so distorted that I just don't want you to be a victim of it. I want to give you some tools to go beyond that. We wish happy to some people, we wish them well, but we can't define how we're doing by their photographs, how much they're smiling or how beautiful the setting is. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing it, especially the wedding thing you're saying. That really says a lot right there, because everybody looks happy, you look so beautiful, and it was not all that. But somebody, as you say, seeing it go, wow, and it wasn't wow. And that's more common than not. I mean, people get stressed out of their minds about their weddings, everything in place, the invitations, you got this one seated over here, where's my maid of honor, but late, whatever it is, there's a lot of weddings stress people out. In fact, any kind of major event, wedding, bar mitzvah, confirmation, so it just stresses the people out, who are particular ones organizing it and the main people doing it. Very, very well said. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful. I'm glad you brought that up. Wonderful. Well, it's my pleasure to be able to present to you and talk with our wonderful guests on how to deal with the psychological effects of social media. Is everyone is having a better time than you? They're not.